Hi there. Hey, I'm Jack from Jack's Tech Corner. Nice to see you stop by. What I wanted to do with this video is show you a little bit about Friday night lights. Now, obviously it's a bright sunlit day today when I'm recording this, but this video is going to teach you a little bit about Friday night lights, or how to use your digital camera to capture pictures of your kids playing football on the high school football field. And I wanted to do this video because I recently went to a Friday night game and found a lot of things being done wrong with photography. So I thought I would share my experiences with you and maybe help you in the long run to actually learn how to do better pictures of Friday night evenings at the football games. So what we're going to talk about first is the digital camera itself and what I use to take pictures. Now this is, as you know, my digital SLR. I use Nikon gear. This is a 18 by 135 zoom lens right here. Standard lens with your camera that you're going to get when you purchase this camera. If you buy it with the lens kit, this is, like I said, this is the D80. The D7000 is now replacing this whole series, D80, D90. But I still use my D80. It's still a very good camera. It works really well. There's some major settings you have to know about, either on the DSLR or on your point and shoot camera. I see people sitting up in stands and they're clicking away, taking pictures. It's just not right, because what happens is these little flashes on the top here are not going to reach the football field anyway. So you're really wasting your time altogether trying to get that shot. You're way up in the stands, you're zoomed all the way out. Then you get home and you say, boy, that picture's awful blurry. Well, sure it is. That's because it's camera shake. Nothing you can do about it. But it's when there's not enough light reaching the inside of the lens. They call it camera shake. And there's nothing you can do to fix it either. I have a lot of people email me and say, Jack, how do I fix a blurry picture? Well, you can't. You're not going to fix it. So, when you're using a camera, DSLR or point and shoot, the first object, your goal here, the first thing you want to do is you want to walk up to the fence. Get to the fence line, or get as close as you can. Maybe you're friends with the coach, maybe you can get on the field, that would be even better. But at least get to the fence line and get your camera. Don't zoom the lens all the way out. All that's doing is, what it's doing actually is raising or lowering the f-stop. Wait, let me zoom. You're actually raising the f-stop. So what you're doing is raising it to a higher level. This particular camera, that would be like a 5.6 on the f-stop. And what you're doing is you're closing down the availability of light coming into that lens. So you're raising the f-stop and you're lowering the availability of light. So always leave that lens turned out. I know you want to zoom, you want to get a really nice picture, but that's just not the way to do it. Now, if you buy a bigger lens, it starts at 70, say a 70 by 300 lens, which is relatively cheap. You're still going to get decent pictures. Again, don't zoom out. I'm going to show you a couple lenses here and a couple tricks of what to do. So our first don't is don't sit in the stands and take your pictures with your flash on. Our second don't is don't zoom the lens out when you're taking Friday night shots, folks. I know you want that close up, but these aren't the lenses ready to do that with dim lighting of the football field. Keep that lens rolled out. Another don't is don't shoot on anything of a ISO, which is ISO or ISO on your camera. Look at your camera and you'll see the settings. Don't shoot on automatic. You're going to want to run that ISO as high as you possibly can get it, and we'll worry about camera noise later. Most today's digital cameras, we don't have to worry about that anyway. So that's a couple of don'ts. I'm going to teach you something. If you have a DSLR, here's a great lens to start with. This little lens right here, I'm going to show you here a little closer. That little lens right there is a 50 millimeter fixed lens. It's a 50 millimeter. Now, the reason I really like this lens is it's a f1.8. In other words, there's a ton of light that gets filtered through this little lens, and it works really, really well. I've shot a lot of basketball games with it. The pictures turn out absolutely perfect. It's about 120 bucks. It's a little lens. It's in the glass, folks. It's in the glass, not always the camera. My next friend here, and I showed this to you before on one of our videos, is a more expensive lens, but this one, I'll get a good view of that. There we go. Just show you that lens, the opening here. This is a 70 by 200 millimeter lens. It's a little pricey, but if you're taking shots of your kids, remember your kids are young once, folks. If you're taking a shot of your kids, or I could either say that, or take this lens and take a lot of pictures of the game, post them on a website, maybe sell some back to some families and friends, and you can actually pay for the lens later on down the road. But this is a 70 by 200. There is a place on the internet you can rent them. A lot of people don't want to rent lenses, but you can rent them. Okay, let's put that away. Once again, that's a 2.8 f-stop. The last thing I want to show you that you should own, even if you have a little point and shoot camera, go out to your local department store and pick up one of these babies. I know we talked about these before also. Right now I'm currently with my camcorder here. I'm using a tripod, but this is a monopod, right? It's a single pod. And the reason we use these when we shoot outdoor sports or even indoor sports in low light is it gives you a good sturdy base to hold that camera on. Let's see if we can raise this up a little bit. It's good and sturdy. It's got a good solid hand grip. You can hold it. You can take your pictures and fire them off at will and actually get some really nice shots without that camera shaking. Remember, again, there's not a lot of light availability. And it may look funny, but you can't even point your point and shoot on here, and it's going to help you a lot with any of those out of focus shots. So there's a couple do's for you. Do use a very high ISO setting, as high as you can go. You know, even I usually stick around 1,000 or 1,200. You can actually go higher or lower. A little like 800 is a good starting point, but I've recently read something that one sports photographer goes to 3,200. So that's a thought too. 3,200 is pretty high. So another do is definitely buy yourself a monopod first, folks. 30 bucks for this basic model here. I've had this for about 3 years. Works really, really well. I've used it a lot. I use it for basketball games, any indoor sports. Most indoor gymnasiums are not well lit for photographers, just the way they are. You think they would be because they know parents are coming with cameras. So that is a do. Keep your ISO setting high. Keep a monopod handy. And look to purchase a better lens, at least a 50 millimeter or the 70 by 200, which is a little bit more high end. Well, folks, I hope you've enjoyed this edition of Jack's Tech Corner, and hopefully this will help you do some Friday night light shooting at your next Friday night football game for your child's, high school, and maybe get down there on the field and shoot some pictures and give them to your yearbook staff. It always helps them out. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time here on Jack's Tech Corner. Bye for now.